to Travel and Bang, baby.
Thanks for tuning in back again, Travel and Bang. I want to touch on a raw and ugly fact. I don't know if anybody's gotten around to read the book 1 Billion Wicked Thoughts by former Google engineers. Analytical research has been done on different topics within the spectrum of not just socioeconomics, but the background of sexual preference, fetishes, and affairs of men and women. And one of the most disturbing things within the research that I thought was there is a 30-year low on sexual activity of men and women in the United States. Now, I don't know if this transfers to UK, Europe, and Australia. I might want to Google and look into it. That's a 30-year low. Let me translate that for you. It's a 30-year low that men are not having sexual activity at all. Meaning, and women as well. You could walk out, meaning you could walk out in the street and randomly point out a 20, 30, or 40-year-old, and that man or woman hasn't had sex within the last several months or even within the last year. You know what I mean? I think it's way more disturbing than that. I think people are going years without having sexual intimacy with another person of their choosing, their desire, their liking. Okay? But I want to point this out because it coincides with what's going on with the passport bros movement. Okay, and many men, in other words, men who are traveling to other countries to seek a good time, shall we say, with women. You know what I mean? You have some men, they fly down to Colombia. You have some men that go to the Dominican Republic. Some men even fly all the way to Thailand, the Philippines. Everyone knows me, how I do. For the longest time, been flying back and forth to, because I'm half German, to Germany. I would meet a woman online, and within 48 hours of being in Germany, visiting that town, that location, I would already be, shall I say, wrestling in the hay, you know what I mean? Jumping in bed with that woman. And so that's why men travel, okay? They travel because when you do go overseas to another location, another country, the saying goes, you're never a prophet in your own land. You know, you go in another country and women find that. They find that exhilarating, refreshing when a foreign man shows up in their country, okay? This isn't just about men. I'm gonna leave a link below so everybody can watch this. You ever heard of the Sanky Panky? Did you know that women, young women in all over Europe, France, Italy, you name it, even Spain, they fly all the way from Europe on their vacation time to the Dominican Republic to enjoy the Sanky Panky. What is the Sanky Panky? The Sanky Pankies are Dominican men who are basically beach boy male prostitutes. They walk up and down the beaches, and these women will come visit, and they literally will pay these men for a good time. And I know some guys are thinking, yeah, I bet they're ugly, fugly looking females. They're not. Very, very pretty, very good looking women. I'll leave the link below so you can watch the Sanky Panky Documentary, and it'll blow your mind. So there's definitely something really disturbing going on a global scale. People just aren't getting laid in their own countries anymore. Not just men, women as well. Like I said, check the link below out and watch the documentary. I find it really entertaining and shocking. I didn't know about the Sanky Panky. But the same thing for men, you know, flying around, go to different countries, and I endorse it. I endorse it because something is going on in the United States right now. The American women, I don't know what it is exactly 100%. We can go through the guidelines of the red pill movement, analytical research shows this and that. We already know what the problem is. But what we need, gentlemen, is a cure. We need solutions and not to be focusing so much on the problems. So look, now I'm going to hit up a letter someone sent me, and you know what, it really pushed me to read this letter, is the incredible mental illness of one-itis. What is one-itis? One-itis is when you become fixated on one woman, okay? You just become almost obsessed about one woman, and the obsession, the constant thought, you know what I mean? It's a mental illness. That's why they call it one-itis. Recently in Poland, check this out, and this relates to the letter, the email the person sent me. A man got dumped, okay? And the woman hooked up with another dude, I guess got engaged with him, and he had one-itis. He was obsessed with his ex-girlfriend. He shoots the guy as he's coming out with his ex-girlfriend from a restaurant, shoots him, murders him right in front of the restaurant, okay? She's frolicking, she's screaming, she's losing her freaking mind. And then he puts the pistol to his own head and takes his own life. And now there's 2 dead dudes in front of the restaurant. She's just screaming, you know what I mean? Utter horror. Yeah, and this goes to one-itis. This goes to men obsessing about one woman that nobody ever sat any of these type of dudes down to say, look, women are replaceable. Give up on this fantasy of, you know, soulmate, she's the one for me, happily ever and after. This does not exist in our world anymore. The worst thing you can do is go out with a chick, do some intimacy things with her, have a good time, and now you become so obsessed about this one chick. And this goes back to men not having a variety, not having sexual options. And they start to obsess, as soon as they get a little bit of sugar, they obsess about that one chick because they don't have any other options. They're in scarcity. They're not in abundance. You see how one-itis, how that situation can F you up. So let's get to the email, shall we? He writes, I met this beautiful woman 3 months ago. We started dating, and by the second week, we had sex. The sex was so mind-blowing. Okay, see, when you hear that already, you already know this is a man who hasn't had enough sexual activity, because he's already illustrating it to be mind-blowing. And maybe it was, but still, it's a little too early to, anyway. And she was so fun to be around. I felt like I found a potential life partner. Way too early to be saying that. We would see each other every other weekend, but as the second month hit, I noticed the text messages responses started taking 6 to 8 hours before I'd get a reply. Whereas in the beginning, she responded within minutes. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. By the third month, she stopped coming by to have sex, and I was downgraded to a short phone calls when she was driving home from work. And she basically ghosted me, and now I'm all effed up and spiraling into depression. I try to snap out of this, but I feel really bad. I thought an OG like you would have some advice, solid advice to give. Okay, so that definitely is already a sign. You notice in the beginning when everything's hot and heavy between you and a woman, she replies like this. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, 6-8 hours go by before she even responds to a simple text message. That is a really bad sign right there. You know, if it happens once because she's tied up at work, that's fine. But if it's constantly like this, you're shortly going to be let go. Okay? You're going to be pink slipped from her life. And you have to just be okay with that. You know, I know this for a fact because I've experienced this in the past as well. It's a crappy feeling because you know you're being put on the back burner, that the woman starts looking at your messages and not finding any relevance, importance, or no want to correspond with you, as before she wanted to correspond with you right away because she saw value in your communication, the communication with you. As a matter of fact, I know a woman who lives in a completely different country, okay, far, far away. And when I text this one woman, within minutes or within hours, she will literally wake up 3, 4 a.m. her time and she will text me back. She doesn't have to do that. But see, that type of woman sees value in my communication. So she gets right back to me, where she could have backburnered me and waited till the morning. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's not a good sign. Yeah, then downgrading. He said that, you know, she only would talk to him on the phone on the way home from work. This also leads me to think that the woman might be in another relationship, because she's already just talking to the guy on the way home from work and not doing the phone calls when she's home from work, which usually would indicate there's somebody at the crib. So she's not, you understand? Could be, maybe, I don't know. The main thing is this whole situation will show you, just as what I described in Poland, that horrible scenario where the guy lost his mind and basically murdered his ex-girlfriend's new dude and then himself. This is one-itis. And this is what you have to understand, gentlemen. All women are replaceable. They're replaceable. Okay? That's the world we live in. If you want 100% guarantee, I would advise to join a religion. If you want a arranged marriage, a lot of men I know would join traditional Islam, and they would get, you know, through their mosque, through their communities. I don't know what the word is for their community. They would get aligned with a woman, you know what I mean? Arranged marriage that way. I know in the Mormon church they do that. I know they definitely do it in Scientology. I know several people through the years who joined Scientology. I'm not too pivy on that religion. I got some critiques about it, but whatever have you, they joined that church and they were aligned with their future life partner. And I think the religion itself, these institutions in itself, brings people together and keeps like a super glue, a peer pressure, if you will, to make them stay together. And that's why you see people within the religious institutions staying together for so long. So you might want to check that route if you want a 100% guarantee. But in the secular world, there is no guarantees. Okay? And if you're in scarcity, meaning you don't have that many options, right? You psychologically, it will be default that you go into one-itis, especially if you've had a long time when you didn't have any sexual intimacy, and then a woman gives you a taste of the sugar. You get to have a little bit a resurgence of sexual activity, you know, human intimacy, and then it's taken away. Boom, one-itis. Your brain goes into this animalistic, primordial type of mode where all you feel is pain, hurt, depression, because you want it back. It's a dopamine rush. It's like a drug, like heroin type of dopamine rush. You want it back so bad. And you have to understand, this is a chemical effect. And the best thing I tell the men with one-itis is just get your, delete this woman off your social medias, delete her number, move on. Especially if she's ghosted you like this guy's went through. Get your mind focused on other things. Enter abundance again. Leave scarcity. If you don't have any women in your country, in your town, like I said before, you want to travel, you want to go somewhere else, you want to meet other women, you want to replace the memory, the thought of this other woman as fast as you can, okay? That's for the weaker minded guys who can't do this on their own, okay? You want to do this. Look, I have a friend, he's a pickup artist, he's one of the best in the United States. Everyone knows him as Jonathan Holmes, Cliff Jumper. Cliff Jumper has reported to me it takes 15 to 20 approaches. 15 to 20 approaches in today's United States of America singles climate to even get one or two women to respond, even to be open to go out. And this guy is solid platinum game. Like, he's younger than me, but he's been teaching me things that I was just like, wow, this is some real social dynamics, Owen Cook, R.S.D. Tyler type of stuff. You understand? But 15 to 20 approaches, that's where we're at, okay? Because of the false illusion of abundance that the mini computer, cell phone, mobile smartphones, what it has done psychologically to women, they automatically feel that they're in abundance. So that's why it takes, for an average man, 15 to 20 approaches just to get 1 to 2 women's attention, because their mind is here, it's there, it's here, it's there, and there's 100, or not 100, but maybe 20, 50 beta males in the inbox. You ever have that when you talk to a woman? Everything is cool, you're in good contact, and all of a sudden she disappears. A lot of times they disappear because there's so many beta males in their inbox, and now they're they're checking the scene. They're checking some other dudes out to see what they're about, you know. And then when they see they're not about jack shit, they come back to you. That's just the way it is, gentlemen. That's just the way it is. But this is definitely something to think about. Do not enter into one-itis. Understand the total landscape of today's singles dating market. And just like I said, that women in Europe are having to go to the Dominican Republic now to get some schlong dong silver put into them. You know what I mean? Because it's getting scarce, messed up and sterile even in Europe. And that's on the woman's end. So you can imagine what men have been going through and what men will continue to go through in this type of, you know, Sahara desert, dry drought of a singles life world. No matter how great your game is, gentlemen, don't let them lie to you. Things have changed. Even if you have the tightest game, tighter than a nun's butthole, okay? It does not matter. Things have changed in today's singles market. You're gonna have to up your game, but you're also gonna have to up your strategy. Get your suitcases out, get your passport, and get ready to travel, baby. Asombroso!